It's all the above, best believe we do it better. I want the fame, the fortune, all the above. I want the checks, the moolah, all the above. From Philadelphia to New York, all the above. Man, tell them other stations they don't do it like us. I want the fame, the fortune, all the above. I want the checks, the moolah, all the above. From Philadelphia to New York, all the above. Man, tell them other stations they don't do it like us. What up?
Hey guys, it's your girl Angel Marie from All of the Above, and I am here with Grammy-nominated R&B vocalist and songwriter Kenny Lattimore. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being
here. Good to be here.
Yes, all in good health. Now, first and foremost, congratulations on the release of your new music. So
thank you.
Tell us all about your new hit single, Take a Dose.
Wow. Take a Dose is the first radio song that we decided to release to terrestrial radio, because now we know the streaming is everything and people are still downloading. But we decided to do a song and release it to radio because I wanted to make sure that the song was reaching every generation, and to see what is our power at radio at this particular time in my career. And I am just very grateful that all of these stations and support came, and 25 years after For You was a big number one song, and gave us another one. So we're real excited. It's a song that was written and produced by first and foremost a guy named that I call Madison, Dracar Madison Wesley, who is my main producer, and he worked with a guy named Lee Major, KND and Kaz, who are other great musicians on it. And it's like a refreshing of Kenny Lattimore too. Mm-hmm. You've got the sound of today. So I'm learning from them. Hey, what is the new adult want to hear, or the young adults want to hear, that is still authentic? Because I know I can't go back and just do something that makes me sound like I'm not trying to be 25 necessarily, because I know I'm not 25 anymore. But that doesn't mean that we have to be disconnected musically. My message is timeless, and my message is for all generations. So how do we marry all those ideas together? So this album, Here to Stay, I think marries the generations and the message. But Take a Dose was for the younger listener, for sure.
Hey, so timeless music never dies.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Speaking of that, Take a Dose secured the #1 spot on Billboard charts. It has been #1 for 2 consecutive weeks on the Billboard Adult R&B chart. So how does it feel to be on top again and following the footsteps of your signature song For You, which secured the #1 spot on charts 25 years ago? You already touched on that, but can you let us in a little bit more on your feelings on that, to know that it's still relevant to this day?
With For You, it was incredible. We were #1 for like 17 weeks or something. Like, we broke a record. But I understood why. You've got the authenticity of that message, and then people started to use it in their weddings and all of that, which is something that we could not have planned for.
I will say, did you know that would possibly happen?
Not at all. It was For You was literally a friend of mine's wedding song, literally his wedding song. So what I think made it so great was its authenticity. We never sat down to try to contrive a song, okay, we're going to, put something together so we can make money or what have you. It was just natural. Take a Dose the same way. When we heard the music and the message and everything, and I said, this song is about love's healing power. Mm-hmm. It's sexy, so it's like, yeah, but it's still about ultimately love's healing power. So when we put everything together from the video concept and when we began to roll it out at radio, I was just hoping that it connected in general. Songs sound different sometimes when you record them and then what they sound like on radio. Mm-hmm. But I thought that sonically it was doing everything that it was supposed to do. And again, I was just grateful. You never, ever know. I mean, I was on the chart up against Beyonce, Rihanna, Alicia Keys, Jasmine Sullivan. And they all were #1 songs. So timing is everything as well. If I had released the song just 3 or 4 weeks earlier, I'm not saying that it wouldn't have been a #1 song, but I would have just been fighting with those other heavy hitters out there for that positioning. And but I was grateful that the time was such that I could secure that spot and get the support of radio on that level.
Yes, congratulations again. That shows
Thank
like
you.
still got it. Dust
Yeah.
that. And
Thank you.
congratulations are in order once again, because
Thank
you
you.
and your wife recently welcomed your baby girl into the world. So
Yes.
that's the fatherhood. Now, can you
You
reflect
know,
on bringing your daughter into the world and what that means to you to be a father, and what are your hopes for your daughter in the future?
wow. I thought about when we knew that we were having a girl, that I was going to be a girl dad. And I'm really animated and I'm just, but I just felt like I have the kind of personality, patience, love to give her, so that with my partner, my love, Faith, um, we have the opportunity to raise a really brilliant child who's well balanced, whole. I've just learned so many things through the years. A lot of times people are like, well, you're starting over. It's a new beginning, because I have a son who'll be 20 years old pretty soon. And, but it is a new beginning for me. It is a beginning with me being a better version even of who I am as a father. I think I'm consistent in terms of being a husband and a partner and understanding the elements that it takes to maintain a relationship and be successful there. But being a dad is, it takes a different kind of sacrifice. And I'm just at a time in my life where I'm able to dedicate to that.
Yes.
And
that is a whole different type of love.
It's a whole different thing. I'm going to be possibly, I guess, a lot of times we say this, but I don't know if this is really true, but I guess I'll be her first love. I'll be her first male love. So I'm like, oh. So it's so funny when I pick her up. A lot of times I talk to her. I'm like, hey, it's daddy. Look at that. I love you. Look, listen to my voice. Listen to this voice here. You're brilliant. You're beautiful. You're amazing. And I just, just talking to her a lot. And it's interesting because when I talk, she can be fussing and everything. I start talking, she'll calm down a little bit.
Power of
she
your
just
voice.
listens. I can hear her just listening, taking it all in. So it's really funny.
I love that. Oh, I love babies. And you also recently released your 10th studio album,
Yes.
Here to Stay. So what can you tell us about that? And what is it like now, 10 albums later?
10 albums. You know what? Here to Stay actually started off as a mentoring project for me with the producer I was telling you about, Madison Dracar Wesley. So I initially started out like, wow, I couldn't hear what I would do in the contemporary R&B market. But I always refer to, myself, again, being a student. I felt like I sat back in the seat and I said, Madison, you're a young, brilliant producer. I love affirming young, talented people, period. Because a lot of times you may not get it. You may not get it from the place that is groundbreaking for you, but that not only could I tell him that he was brilliant and he deserved the platform of producing the album, but I could give him the platform. I could give it to him. He had already written on 3 other top 10 songs that I had. So I was able to give him his first #1 with Take a Dose. But the album really was one of those projects where we just talked about it. He said, this is what I think you need to sound like. This is the position we need to come from. We used Faith, my wife, as and our relationship as a foundation for the lyrics, and how I was feeling about my relationship with her, and putting the whole project together. It was like seamless, really, and it happened really, really quick. we got in here in the studio and just we banged it out. So the reaction to what we did, it's definitely been greater than I thought it was going to be. Not that I didn't think it was going to be great, but just it definitely, things have exceeded what I thought in the time space. I knew that we had some commercial songs that were good, but I think everybody, when you create something, you think, wow, I've created something that I think is great for me at this time. Doesn't compare to anything else that anybody ever does. But when you're talking about creating a project and getting it seen. R&B music is not promoted the way it used to be. Yeah. So we have these things that people could say R&B is dead and all that kind of stuff that has been floating around for a while because it's not promoted in the same manner that it used to be. So when you're creating, that's the only reason why I would say, oh, I wasn't sure what to expect. Not because it wasn't great, not because I didn't think I'd have success, but I'm like, oh, I don't know. We have to see what people think about me at this time in my life with this amazing contemporary sound. Did we get close enough to authentic Kenny Lattimore so that it will cross the generations and the new young adults that are coming in that are listening to this and the fans that I've made over the last 25 years, can we merge them together? That was the point. So I'm the circle of it, right? The circle of life creatively. So I am elated that it all happened. And sometimes it's about just keeping that faith. Yeah. Keeping that faith. And man, boy, I was praying hard. And then at some point you let it go because it can drive you crazy. Say it again.
Let go and let God.
That's right. Because other than that, it can drive you crazy thinking that you can control it because you can't really. You give what you need to give and promotion comes from the Lord.
Yes. And
so we're grateful.
Back for a second. So I want you to reflect on how did you get into this industry and in the business of music? What inspired you and who would you highlight as some of your musical influences?
Ooh, you know what? My mom was the visionary. She was my first manager. She discovered I could sing when I was 12. So she said, do you want to take voice lessons? I didn't know what voice lessons was. But I said, okay, I'll go to voice lessons. And I was singing songs like, I left my heart in San Francisco up on a hill. And I was singing classical music. But I think all of the different things that I studied gave me the confidence because I was deathly shy too when I was a kid growing up. Deathly shy. But music gave me the voice. It gave me the confidence to feel as if there was something significant about my life and what I could give. So I just kept studying it and I kept appreciating different genres and different styles. And I think that fascinated me the most, doing different genres of music, because I would be like, oh, I wonder if I could sing a rock and roll song. Oh, no, I didn't do so great with that. Oh, but I can sing this jazz song. Oh, okay, I did. I can sing a classical song. I actually sound pretty good over here. You know, and you just kind of balance it out. But I try to take all the boundaries off and allow me to have fun. And see, that's the thing that I really try to encourage when I'm talking to younger musicians too, is never let the business or anything else take the fun and the love out of it. Yes. Because when you can keep it, keep your passion in it. I guess that's even a better way to say it. If you can keep the passion in it, it doesn't matter whether you've had a #1 hit or anything. It just becomes a way for you to get out that creative expression and part of you that just needs to be nurtured. But, you know, I was blessed to have this platform with my career. I came from gospel as well. I wanted to actually be like BB and CeCe Winans. Oh. But there were doors that kept opening. All the doors that opened for me were in R&B. And I grew up definitely in one of those eras where people were like, is it the sacred music? Or is it the devil's music? Or is it, people were trying to define so many things. But I learned that I had to be comfortable within my own skin and know that my music was about my life. It wasn't about one aspect of my life. It was about my life in totality. And if I could say certain things out of my mouth, why couldn't I sing it? I wanted my music to be like conversation and for everything to be organic. So from there, I started doing demos, which are just tapes or demonstrations of, this is what I sound like. This is like what my style is. And I listened and watched it evolve through the years until we got to that solo record. I had experiences with bands and all too, and major labels and things growing up that were not as commercially successful as my solo career. But I'm so grateful for those moments, because I would not be where I am had it not been for Mannequin, had it not been for a guy named William Beckton giving me the opportunity. We did some gospel hits back in the day too. Glenn Jones. If we really go back to the beginning of my career, I wrote for Glenn Jones and another amazing artist named John Lucien. These were much more mature artists than me at the time, but they were my background to see how things worked. I got a chance to meet Glenn Jones and see him and ride in his car. I probably have never told him this to this day because I don't really see him very often, but Glenn Jones gave me a ride home one day. Now, if you don't know who Glenn Jones is, because you may not know who Glenn Jones is, go back and listen to or Google him, because he's one of the greatest voices of our time. Wow. And he's still incredible to this day, but he came from gospel and started doing R&B. So seeing artists like that were like me, who preceded me, and I knew his hit records and all of that. And I was he's taking me home from a session, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, I want to be. So I was able to touch some of the people, be right in proximity with them physically and watch them walk out life, if you will. So having those kind of examples right there in front of me was encouraging. And I felt like, okay, this is definitely something I can do. And my family encouraged me, because family is like everything. One of the most validating, because I knew that there would be times when, again, everybody's not going to love you and think that you're the greatest or whatever, but family keeps you grounded, and they give you the kind of support that no one else can. The kind of support that keeps you moving. Yes,
that motivation. You have
that
such
motivation,
inspiring career and story. I'm sure everybody wants to know how they can stay up to date with everything that you have.
Oh, wow. I'm one of the first artists to have a website. Okay, so I'm gonna go all the way back. I know a lot of people are just on social media, but all of my social media is encompassed on my website, KennyLattimore.com. And I still love the website, because if you just remember my name, you can get to all my social media. You can get to me. You can send a message to my management and book me. All those kind of things are a part of the website, but KennyLattimore.com.
Yeah.
But if you just want to go on IG or what have you, just go and look up at Kenny Lattimore and look for that blue check.
Okay, that's simple, y'all. Make sure you find Kenny Lattimore. Give him that follow, subscription, stream those songs.
Stream the song.
Number one on the Billboard charts. But before you all go, definitely make sure you give us a follow as well at _all-of-the-above-1. That is how you stay up to date with everything that is going on in our world and all of our interviews, including today's interview with the amazing Kenny Lattimore. We also have a website as well, so make sure you guys check it out at www.alloftheabove-podcast.com. That is how you stay up to date with everything on our show as well. But thank you so much.
It is my pleasure. It's my pleasure
talking to you. I love it. And I love your music.
Thank you.
Don't stop. Keep it going.
All right. I love it.
Pick it up. They'll get used to it.
Hey, I appreciate that, because a lot of times we as artists, we do try to figure out how do we remain relevant. But the one thing that I definitely know is that love never goes out of style. So that's what you're always going to get from me.
Timeless music don't go out of style as well.
Yeah.
But as always, I'm your girl, Angel Marie from All the Above, and we will see you guys next time.
At 7, Angel Marie and Kevin playing the illest records, bringing us back together. Philly is all season, storming through any weather, leaving the track bleeding. Way we pull it together, we applying my pressure. I am your new professor, teaching this whole semester. Pay attention to lessons. I like it.